Hello and welcome back to the Ms. Behavior Podcast, the podcast for college student conduct professionals. My name is Collette.
And I'm Kurt.
We'll be your hosts for the next however long. We wanted to make a couple reminders to everybody. Our book club is coming soon. It's the Just Desserts and Dissertations book club virtually. You don't need to go anywhere except to Zoom and join us. If you'd like to register, all the information is in the podcast information or just follow us on social media. But our first dissertation out of the gate is Dr. Erin Kaplan's How the Student Conduct Process Impacts Student Belonging. So if you're thinking about how to build community, increase retention on your campus, we think this is a great starter episode for the book club. And that's happening July 16th, followed by that same afternoon, the Ms. B Happy Hour, where we wanted to just bring together community of conduct folks to not talk about work. We've designed it in a way that should be pretty welcoming and fun for introverts or extroverts. If you're new to the field or if you have people just dipping their toes in who want to meet other conduct folks, I find conduct folks super cool. And we think you will too. All the registration information is right here with the podcast information. All right. Kurt, am I forgetting anything?
No, I am super excited for these breakout rooms, though. I need some new TV recommendations. As we talked about last week, I think my entire TV queue has been filled with the traders, so I need something to diversify.
I thought a breakout room for folks with pets, too, might be kind of fun.
BYOP, bring your own pet.
And for folks who are super brave, we're going to have a special guest at the book club, and that is a reporter from Inside Higher Ed who wants to learn more about student conduct and our research. So we will probably have a breakout room for her to interview folks and just enlarge the community. But today we are bringing back one of our favorite guests from this year, and that is Samantha Collette, our fashion and higher ed expert. Welcome, Sam.
Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me back. I'm so happy to be here, especially now that it's warm, it's summer, we have a little bit of a break. Yeah, it's great to see you guys again.
What are you wearing today? Because it's a vibe. I love it.
Thank you. I'm wearing one of my classic mock necks. I love to be in blue. I love to be in a mock neck. Blue mock neck. And then I'm wearing a maxi tie-dye blue skirt. It's this is the and I'm at my house, so I'm currently in my slippers, but I was wearing my Jeels earlier, my jean heels. And then one of my best friends got me this necklace in Spain. So that's the vibe today.
Yeah, I've never even heard of this. I've heard of jeggings, now Jeels. This is
My
new.
Jeels, yes, I love them. The Jeels are a big hit. But the last time I was here, I had red hair, and now it's kind of strawberry blonde. So we have a fun new summer vibe.
It is gorgeous.
Yes,
Thank you.
I agree. I didn't know what to do with hair when I had it, so this is my punishment for my inability to style it when it existed. So kudos to you all for doing all the things you do with your hair.
Kurt, you've got a good look going on.
Mhm.
And look at you in color today.
I think we went on the opposite end of the fashion spectrum today. You went with a very fashion forward Johnny Cash kind of situation.
What did you call it?
A Johnny Cash kind of situation.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah, Johnny Cash wore all black. That's my only. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was feeling summery today. It's like a little classic summer vibe.
This was the top that you two inspired when I was getting ready for the orchestra concert.
I love that. Any
thanks.
halter, I'm obsessed with it. So you're slaying.
Me too. And this was an old suit. I was giving away all my business suits to the career closet on my old campus, and I couldn't give up the coats. Oh God, I love a good suit jacket.
I say never give up a coat, because even if you feel like it's out of style, it's coming back. I think I'm old enough now to have regretted giving away denim jackets that I had back in the 90s. and then again in 2010. And I'm like, I should have kept them. Did not keep them. They always come back.
80s shoulder pads now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, golly. Looks like a football linebacker. Sam, what's in your summer wardrobe right now?
It's a lot of like long skirts, tank tops. I have a bunch of like fun like sandal heels. I'm trying to get some more, but I have like a very, to bring back a word from last time, Y2K pair of little like kitten flip-flop sandals that are like a fun pattern. I love those. But yeah, I'm trying to go flowy because it has been very humid here in Massachusetts, and anything that is stuck to my body, I'm not having it. So
So you said kitten heel flip-flops?
yeah. Yeah, they're
Really?
like this like little teeny tiny heel, but then they're like flip-flops. They're
Oh my
quite
God.
ridiculous.
My only experience with kitten heels is from RuPaul's Drag Race, where Michelle Visage reads people to filth for wearing kitten heels. So I'm assuming that a kitten heel flip flop is a whole different situation. I'm going to need to see some pictures.
Yep.
I will send
I'm sure
pictures
it's
of those as
amazing.
well.
Okay.
Kitten heels are very trendy right now.
Okay.
That's like to read for filth, my goodness. No, like a lot of like the corporate office girlies are loving a kitten heel. And dare I say, the kitten heel is actually more uncomfortable than a regular heel.
Oh,
I'm more likely to trip. I'd rather wear a higher heel. I'd feel
Yeah.
more balanced somehow. So I appreciate your risk taking and your kitten heel.
Yep.
Colette, I'm thinking back to um, the early 2000s and your workplace couture, and I feel like you were always like showcasing a very high heel.
Yeah. Oh, I love the day of the platform that when the 70s platforms came back. That was Y2K era. And now, Sam, you have inspired every one of my clothing searches now starts with Y2K.
Oh my gosh, I love it. No, it's so fun. And I mean, during the times of Y2K, I was but a wee child, but now I also think about it as like bringing like my inner child back into my wardrobe just
Hmm.
makes me so happy. So whenever I see Y2K, I'm like, yes, it's like lip smackers lip gloss, a cute little heel, a little purse. I'm just so
Lips.
happy.
I love the velvety, like, it just feels so feminine. And
Mhm.
they're usually flattering.
Now, when you were on, I was not familiar last time. I was not familiar with the whole Y2K trend as a genre. And
Yes.
I think, Colette, I shared with you, I went to Portland, Oregon for a conference and got to do a lot of thrifting while I was there. And the first store I walked into, there was a whole Y2K section. And I was like, oh, that's a whole vibe. It's a thing. There it is. So, yeah, that was a new thing I learned this year.
If I say business casual, Sam, how does your body react to that? Is that a positive or a like, eh?
No, it's not an ick, that's for sure. No, I think that's great. Like that's how a lot of my colleagues dress. I think business casual also just gives so much room for like personalizing what you're wearing. Because there are certainly days that I have to go like full business at work when I'm doing my hearings, but otherwise, like I love to do business casual, like, cute little trousers, fun shirt, fun earrings, you know me. So yeah, I definitely no ick.
Do you feel like students understand what business casual is?
Um, Unsure, because I have seen students go to like some of the career fairs on campus that like encourage students to do business casual. And as myself and my friends would say, we see some cheekage. So I think students um are focusing more on the casual word
Yes.
of business casual. Yeah.
I think I have cause to be somebody's first interaction with the business casual world in my job. We will have events where we want to invite students to interact with a board member or local politicians and elected officials. And I have just started sending a picture of like, here's the group shot from last year, because the first year I said it's business casual. somebody interpreted that as a mixture of both business and casual. So it was khaki pants and then a sweatshirt with a ripped neck draped over the shoulder. It was adorable, but I felt bad for her because everybody else had like, oh, I have a button down shirt and khakis on. She was both business and casual.
She went full mullet in the way she was dressed.
Yes, it was mullet.
No, I like the example though. The
At the
examples are needed.
big tech school I worked at, when they would bring the career fair folks, and gosh, these students, they probably owned one suit and it never fit them right. And it was so adorable to me. I didn't want it to change. They're going to get jobs as, computer coders, and they're going to be wearing t-shirts and jeans, and that is the uniform for them. But for this one day a year, they pull out their ill-fitting suit and they're just so sweet.
I think a dream job, I would want to be stationed at our clothing closet on campus and just give fashion advice to students. Like, this is maybe not the best cut for you. Let's move over to this section and look at this instead. Because I love that we have free clothing available to students, but I also want them like, hey, what is this just for every day? Are you going for a job interview? They don't get any of the context. We talk about wraparound support services. I think fashion advice should be included in that as well.
Stylist.
Yes.
I love that, Kurt. Oh,
Unique to our college, we could pilot the program. I'll be accepting grants for this. Just anybody's writing them.
when we had queer prom on one of our campuses, I remember a student going and was so excited to find this sequined dress. That would be a perfect time to bring out the free stylist service.
Yes.
That is so fun. My university also does like a free career closet type thing, and they sent out a call for donations this year. And it was like everyone and their mother, their grandmother, their aunt, their uncle all donated stuff, which is great. But then they were like, oh, okay, we actually need to like start pushing some of this stuff. And so they had like a bunch of different sessions that folks would come, and some of the people in like the dean of students office and the career development office were like helping people pick stuff out that would fit them correctly. So yeah, it's like a big thing right now. And I think it's wonderful because to buy some of these things new is so costly. And like
Yep.
students don't have the money to go buy a $200, suit set. So I'm happy that it's being recycled through community means.
Our clothing closet started as a gender affirming clothing closet. And it has since expanded to be for everybody. And it also focuses on career pieces. So if you're going for a job interview or if you need clothes for work. But I love that we have changed the focus and expanded it. Because I do think that there were students who were uncomfortable, like knowing where it was, that, oh, somebody's going back there because they are looking for gender affirming clothing. And now it's multi-purpose. It's also right next to our food pantry. So you could be going back there for anything. Hopefully you're coming out with a good find.
Any advice for back to school shopping, Sam? Since we're talking about finding good bargains or just, I don't know, getting your fall vibe on.
Yeah, I mean, something that I've been doing, truthfully, is like I try to find something and then find it in like multiple colors because it's made getting ready for work so much easier to know that it's like, okay, like I love the way this top fits me. I have it in a couple different colors. We're good to go. Like I was saying before, like a mock neck, because I know that I can pair it with, a skirt on a more casual day, or I can do it with like a pantsuit when I need to be more dressed up. So I think just really focusing on the staples in, top bottom. And then if you're going to get a little excited, I always say do it with like your shoe or your bag. I actually think there's a lot of room for students to carry around their stuff in a bag. I just got like a big Kate Spade bag for work, and I feel so fabulous every day. So it's like if students are trying to get away from like the clunky backpack, find some really cool big bag. I even think with like some the Y2K trends right now, like the big slouchy bags are so in. So I would say stick to what makes you feel really comfortable on your body and then do like a little peek of the shoe and a really cool bag.
I recently transitioned away from a backpack. I used to have a crossbody and I went to a backpack. It's a little fancy on
Yeah.
Ooh.
Poshmark, and I love it. Now, I have a little internal struggle periodically about whether or not it is pushing me into a more feminine region. My partner said it looked like a giant purse, and I don't care at this point. It carries everything I need to, and it is not throwing off my back at all. So I love it. Poshmark fine, though.
Yes. Love that. One of my male coworkers just got this really nice, like black Coach briefcase because he was sick of a backpack.
Yep.
So I think it's time. Like, no matter what the gender is, like, get a sleigh work bag, school
Amen.
bag, and you're away with backpacks. Away. That's my fall advice, I think.
That's our soundbite right there. Away with backpacks. It's funny though. Say what you will about the algorithm. I searched men's tote bag, and like that night, I just started getting so many cool guys in my TikTok feed showing their tote bags that they had, and I was like, okay, so it's not just me; it is a thing, and I felt more comfortable then. It felt more socially normative than it did the day before.
Was it on this episode with Sam where we talked about my husband's man purse? I'll just add, because he proudly calls it his man purse, but he bought the one in military green. But it
I
is
love it.
so handy.
Yes.
Yes, totally.
It's perfect.
Do you have any tips for secondhand shopping, Sam?
Ooh, something that at least helps me get through secondhand shopping quicker is really focusing on the colors or patterns that I'm looking for in any of the departments. Because when I would go with my mom in high school, she wanted to look at like everything and we'd be there forever, which can be fun. But like now that I'm an adult and I'm like, I don't have 4 hours to spend at a thrift store, I always go in knowing like, okay, this is a specific item that I need, or this is a specific color that I'm looking for, or a pattern. And it makes it go by so much quicker because, like, when you see those huge racks of, like, everything, but if I'm only looking for green, then it, like, weeds everything out much quicker. Also looking for, like, certain fabrics, like, there are plenty of things that I just, like, hate and don't like, so I think just, like, anything that could add to your game plan is gonna make secondhand shopping, like, a lot more efficient.
And are you strictly in person, or do you use like Poshmark, the Real Real, or the Shop Goodwill app?
I use Depop for my secondhand stuff,
Yeah.
and that when my friends and I get sucked into the Depop rabbit hole, like, it's really dangerous because I have found some really cute stuff on there. I get nervous to buy shoes. One of my friends has a lot of really cute boots from Depop, but I mostly use it for like some of my like work clothes, or if I'm like trying to find something that I love already in a different color. But I have a lot of luck on Depop.
I've been obsessed with the Shop Goodwill app recently, which I didn't know was a thing. It came across my TikTok, and there's a lot of cool vintage like watches and men's rings and just staple pieces. Like I have a whole search saved for Ralph Lauren stuff. Like I'm always looking for a comfy sweater that I can dry clean and, have that be part of my staple then. So, but the prices are pretty amazing. They're hard to beat.
I have not heard of that before, so that might be a new dangerous app that I'm looking at. That sounds really cool.
Somebody apparently, I didn't know. I mean, I've noticed it at our local thrift shop. The Goodwills are pulling some of the higher end stuff, so you're not finding as much of it in person anymore because they've moved it to an online platform. And the only thing you got to watch for is the shipping. That can be a little steep, but there are penny shipping options as well. So
Cool.
it's worth checking out. I also feel like it used to be the case that you could find better stuff at TJ Maxx and Marshalls. Like Colette, I remember shopping with you in person a couple times and there was like high end like formal wear. And now it doesn't seem as great where I
'Cause
am.
it was from Marshall Fields, I think. Now it's just its own stuff, yeah, sadly.
You're not gonna find a Gucci very often at a TJ Maxx or a Marshalls. TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx.
Interestingly enough, so I live in Framingham and the TJX headquarters is in Framingham. And so our TJ Maxx and Marshalls tends to have some better stuff because
Ooh.
they'll bring the folks from the headquarters over there. So we have like a whole designer section at our TJ Maxx. So they
Oh.
have like Gucci shoes and
Oh,
like all of the higher brand things. But I'm like, when I'm going into TJ Maxx and Marshalls, I'm like looking to get a deal. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, Gucci shoes. And then I'm like, wait, no, wait, I still don't have $700.
Sam, I work exclusively on Zoom now with students, and I'm realizing I just need a refresh. For a while, I'm like, everything is new to them because I am new at this job. But now it's feeling really stale. And I wonder if you have any tips for those of us who are remote or who do a lot of like camera work.
Okay. I really, yeah, I might need to think on that. Like, I do not do a lot of my work over Zoom. I'm largely in person. I'm really only meeting with folks over Zoom in our like break periods, but I don't know. That's a really like good question that I would have to think on.
I was gonna ask if you should invest in a shoe cam because that could be a game changer.
That could be a game changer.
I could. Or put the shoes on a little thing behind me.
Yes.
Very Carrie Bradshaw.
Well, I was wondering, maybe it's less a fashion question than how do you make yourself as approachable? Because I have this backdrop with the library that most people think is real, even though it's pretty obviously fake. You can see the little wrinkle right there, but then I don't want to wear a business suit and look like an executive coach or something. And a lot of days I'll just wear my college's t-shirt as my uniform. I'm always wondering, like, what am I trying to communicate, and what's the best way to do that?
That is tough. I love, stuff like this or just like a really comfy blouse because then I feel like the students are still sort of taking me more seriously, but I'm like comfortable in my home.
Mhm.
Because I know like even when I've done Zoom interviews, even like for job positions or like meeting with folks over Zoom when I was a student, because I was a student in the COVID era, which was scary. Um, Whenever I would see people like look really casual, I'd kind of be like, do you care? Like, do you like,
Mm,
so I think it's always good to like kind of zhuzh it up somehow. But I will say I really like your background because something that always irks me is when people do Zoom meetings and they always have it like blurred or it's like super obviously fake.
yes. Yep.
I agree.
I'd rather see a messy room than something blurred out in the back.
Yeah, like something. And like when I meet with students over Zoom, they're like in their room at home that like maybe they share with someone,
Mhm.
like they don't care. And I think they'd just
Yeah.
rather see that the staff member's in like a real space. I think that also helps build trust too, because if it's blurred out, it's like, what fictional land are you hanging out in right now,
Mhm.
you know?
I'm glad. That's very affirming to hear that.
I think there's still room for a nicely curated background in everybody's house that they can use for online meetings.
I think when we saw you, you were about to launch your lemons campaign, and I saw some pictures from it, and I wanted to hear, did that go as well as it sounded like it had a lot of potential for great communication with students. And maybe you could explain what that is for folks who are just tuning in.
Yes. So when I first got hired to work in community standards, immediately my first thought was like, I need to do something with lemons. I just like that was an itch in my brain. Um, and so this past April, I was thinking about, ways that we can proactively get in front of students, but also having it be like really low risk, low stress, not a big lift for students to engage. And so we did like a little tabling campaign that we labeled like make lemons from lemonade. Nope. Make lemonade
Yeah,
from
oh,
lemons. It goes reverse. Make lemonade
It's
from lemons.
magic.
Um, because I think that when students come through the conduct system, it's like this big fat lemon of like, I don't want to be here. It's literally like lemon juice in the cup that I have open right now of trying to think about my mistakes and take accountability. But really good things can come from it too. I've definitely had a ton of interactions with students who are like, this really sucked, but now I've learned this really good lesson and I'm so much better prepared to go on to the next thing. So, myself and then my intern, Maddie, and I know we were talking about her earlier. I love her dearly. We hung out outside of our student center on the patio, and we could not have gotten better weather. It was the second Tuesday in April, and it was so sunny and it was like warm outside. Like students were just so happy to be outside. And we stood out there for a couple hours around lunchtime and we were just like handing out lemonades and we were handing out little lemon stress balls that have like motivational sayings on them, like, make it happen. And students loved it. It was so good to just say hi to students. And we didn't feel the need to like launch into a whole big speech about what community standards is. But, they saw our name on the tablecloth. They got to see, my face and Maddie's face just as a way that, if in the future they do have like a hearing with me or they hear the name community standards, hopefully that way they can think back and be like, oh, that's the lady that gave me the lemonade instead of,
mhm.
oh, that's the lady that's going to kick me out of school. So, yeah, the lemons are kind of like my little punchy tagline, but it's really all about just trying to get students a little less afraid to utilize the office. But it was fantastic. It went so well. Over 140 students stopped by.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was awesome.
It was fun. I got to talk to Maddie. I think you had put out a blast just saying, I've got an intern who's kind of sort of practices curious and wondered if anybody would talk to them. And so I got to meet Maddie and it was fun just hearing things through the lens. Because right now the only students I meet with are people who are in trouble or got in trouble and now we still have a relationship. But for Maddie, the big concern was about students who just keep doing it. Like they've gone to student conduct and then they did something again. And it was good for me to hear that because for me, I'm like, yep, this is about the long game. But she doesn't have a long game. She's graduating in a few months. And I just thought that was interesting. I don't know if you have any perspective on those dichotomies.
Yeah, so Maddie was an RA for 3 years. She's also in like a leadership capacity even within that, so she had additional responsibilities. But whenever we'd meet, we'd be talking about like policy and trends and her vision for, student staff enforcing and working with the policies that community standards writes and upholds. And one of her biggest concerns was like RA burnout tied to students continuing to repeat behavior and just sort of thinking about like how do you get in front of it? How do you make it click for students to stop and realize the impact they're having? Because like a lot of students just think about like, well, what does this mean for me? And if I don't care if I'm put on disciplinary probation, then what does it matter? I'm just going to do it again. And so, the conversations I was having with Maddie were more about like restorative justice and trying to frame it to students about like, no, actually, it's a lot more than you. And even though you got caught using marijuana, that actually impacted all of the folks in your hallway because then, they couldn't focus on anything because it smelled. So, she was really great about providing that like fresh current student perspective on university challenges, especially just since like the culture is changing so much. Like right now it's just like this repeated marijuana use, whereas a lot of colleges it used to be alcohol.
Hmm.
But with alcohol it's kind of like, well, you do it in the room and it doesn't really impact your neighbors. But now with marijuana it's like that makes the whole
Mhm.
community smell. So really just like shifting the language with folks.
I'm curious about your experience with mentoring an intern and what that was like for you. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Having Maddie was one of the best parts of the last year for me, truly. Like, I cannot speak higher of her. I wasn't even really supposed to have an intern. It's not built into my office or anything like that. But I got so lucky because I was doing an RA resource fair and Maddie came up to my table and she was like, "I would like to be your intern. Would that happen?" And I was like, "I think so." Um, and my boss had no problem with it. And so working with her was so fantastic. She reminds me so much of how I was, when I was a student and the experiences and the things that I wanted to get out of being an RA. So it was just so awesome to be able to watch her grow and just like have someone to help me. Like I really feel like a lot of the programs we had over the last year wouldn't have been as successful if like she wasn't providing really good insight for it.
And do you think you'll do that again next
I would
year? Or
I would love to. It's hard because like I said, since it's not built into my office, we don't have like guaranteed funding for anyone. So Maddie ended up, we were so lucky because career development offered some like grant funding. So she was approved to get some of that. But I feel terrible asking students to work for free. Don't do that. Like you're contributing valuable work. I would like to be able to compensate you for it. And she also did get like internship credits for it, but I would love to have an intern again. I really need to find some sort of like sustainable funding for that to be an opportunity. But the route that I'm sort of going about it this upcoming year is to try to do like more like mini sessions or mini programs with like RAs and student leaders to say, if you'd like to collaborate with student conduct, let's do like one or two programs together with an area of interest. And that way I'll still kind of have students interacting in that sense with the office, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to have someone like the full year unless we luck out the exact same way again.
I'm just curious. I think we had a discussion about interns at work recently, and I think there was a slight misconception that this is just free work or low cost work, and not a lot of discussion or as much as I wanted around the mentorship aspect of it. And this isn't just somebody that sits in an office outside of your office and does work that you're doing. You invest time and effort into this as well. How much of the time did you feel, how much of your week did you feel like you spent mentoring and engaging with Maddie?
Yeah, so of course we were engaging in, big projects and programs and but every single week we had an hour one-on-one that I would just talk to her about like what is like going on for you right now?
Hmm.
Like how are your residents? How is that impacting you? How's your grad school search going? Because she's trying to figure out like, do I jump into a master's degree, a PhD program? Do I go work full time? Like, she's navigating all of that. So, a lot of our conversations were about, you know, are you going to be able to get an assistantship if you want to do a master's program? Where have you actually been looking? So, it was a lot of that and just kind of figuring out like what her next steps could be. And then some days it was just like, you know what? I just want to chat right now because I've had a really difficult, tough, busy week and we're just going to talk about books and it's going to be great. So I got really close to Maddie and, I saw her grow a ton over the year. And I definitely think it was also a lot of mentoring. We do like some reflection activities to think about like, where is our energy going right now? Where can we sort of fill our cup like a little bit more? She's not just like some student worker who's, doing whatever because I need her to. It's like I want to shape her because she's interested in the things that I'm interested in and she has so much awesome potential. So it was great working with her and we got to celebrate at the end of the year and it was great.
So cool.
a big takeaway from me when we met the first time was the conversation we had about warm handoffs. And I don't know if you remember, you told a story about meeting with a student and then referring them to a colleague, and you said, don't forget to ask them about ice skating lessons. One thing is just practical, get them to follow through and make the appointment with that person that you've referred them to. But I've been trying to think of other creative ways to increase that warmth potential. So I don't know if you have other examples of that or if I don't know if there's a brainstorming opportunity here to just think of how could we infuse this in our training or make it happen on purpose?
Yeah, so sort of kind of related, but I think there is a handoff involved. When students on our campus are found responsible for like an alcohol or a drug violation, they get referred over to the wellness department. And it is a sanction, like they're required to meet with someone. But the way we're currently doing it is they get their hearing resolution letter and it says contact wellness, like here's the email. And it doesn't feel like the warmest of
Hmm.
handoffs, and our compliance is, like, so-so with it, and the folks in that department are, like, literally some of the nicest people that we have on this campus. So, something that we're trying to pilot for next year is increasing the language around next steps and compliance. And so I've been developing more of like a handout that students can get at the end of a hearing. And, I always tell them, like, I can't guarantee this is what your sanction is going to be. We have to finish up the investigation. But at least this way, there's more of an explanation as to, like, what does a meeting with wellness education actually mean for you? Who
Oh,
is this person that you might have to meet with? And so I'll be training my hearing officers this summer about like if you're meeting with someone and it kind of seems like they're going to be found responsible for alcohol or drugs, say, I think you're going to have a meeting with Pam. Here's how you'd contact her. This is what the meeting's going to be, and you'll have about 3 weeks to do it. And by giving them that information up front instead of at the bottom of an email, I think it'll just make it feel like just a lot easier to approach or a lot more human to approach. So I'm hoping that goes well.
I love that idea.
That's-
'Cause I'm even picturing you could put Pam's picture and a little bio. Pam's from this state, but went to this school. Like, so anything that would be like, oh, I'm from the East Coast too, or a few hobbies, or like
Yeah.
things that make it like Pam likes baking and horses and dog walks on the beach.
Horses.
Oh, that's funny.
Um,
That's funny.
but for real, like just humanizing that whole
Yeah.
process. We did
Yeah.
that one year with our conduct board members. We made a little website like, this is Sam, and Sam likes fashion, and it's from some, because we're like, we're hoping students will see this and realize everyone's a real person.
I feel like people have this image, especially of conduct, that it's like we're like these evil trolls who are gonna like cast them far, far away. And it's like, no, we're just people who don't want you to keep drinking and breaking stuff. Like,
Yeah,
that's it.
there's a lot in the dissertation we're using for the book club. There's a lot of information about that where students are reporting anecdotally kind of things like that that their hearing officers did that either made them feel more comfortable and like they were just talking human to human, or if it was very hierarchical. So it really does matter.
Yeah, it's huge. I think especially since one of the biggest goals, at least for me with student conduct, is that students learn something. And I think if they're just so scared the whole conversation, they're not going to learn anything. They're probably just going to like black out and try to get through it.
Yeah.
But in coming to them from a place of just like understanding and like being a human, they're going to be like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. Or at least we hope.
And even colleague to colleague, to set that up to make the handout or to make the handoff, we're all going to learn things about each other. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you did that. And that could enrich just the colleague to colleague relationship that we're modeling for students.
Definitely. I will say I feel so lucky the place that I work, like all of my coworkers, I feel like are my friends. Like I go to work every day and I'm like, yay, I get to hang out with my friends now. Which is great because then I truly feel like when I am handing over a student to someone, like I have trust that they genuinely are in good hands.
Hmm.
Because I truly know who this person is. No one's just like, oh, I see you sometimes. Like I really know a lot about my coworkers and who they are as people, and it makes, my life so much more enjoyable. And I think the students really do see that too. We've been hiring for like a bunch of different positions this summer, and it's so nice because we all get to like gush about each other, but also like people are recognizing like, oh, like this seems like a really good place to work. So anyway, you're both invited anytime. Come on over. Come on over.
Road trip.
Yes. But I think to the comment the comment you had made about students being, students need to take us seriously. I think you can be friendly with students, but in them taking you seriously is so much more about like you knowing what you're doing. Like I don't ever think a student's not going to take me seriously because I talk about my cat, my dog, ice skating. I think it's really about when it gets down to like, here are the violations, here's the report. I think being an expert there is what makes them
Mm.
take you seriously. So both things can be true.
I wonder if we changed out the words "take me seriously" with "trust me." I
Yeah,
just want
Mm.
students to trust me. And
yeah.
would that encapsulate everything you just said about trusting that I'm competent? Uh, it's everything. ASCA is getting ready for folks to apply to present at conferences. And some years the application is very focused on it. They have like 7 learning outcomes. I would love for Sam to do a presentation on it, the warmth needed for learning to happen. And that might not address one of those 7 learning outcomes. And yet, it might be the most important thing somebody learns.
I would love to present.
Yeah, I
I'll have
think you
to take a
should
look.
submit something about, I mean, there's so many things. The warm handoff, but also the warm welcome.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned this at all in the episode I was on last time, but I am sort of fortunate in a sense because the students that I meet with check in at the dean of students office, but my office is actually like all the way at the end of the hallway. And so I get to use the hallway time as like relationship building because it's like it would be so awkward if they were just like following me down this long hallway. So I use that time to be like, tell me how your day has been so far. What's been the highlight of your week? Tell me about your major. How did you pick that? Like, what do you have going on? And then that way, as soon as we get into my office, we can kind of continue that conversation so it doesn't then feel like we're starting when the door closes. So we can continue. And then I'm always like, and I could talk to you about being a psych major all day, but we have business to get to. And then they go, yeah.
I love that moment though when like, okay, readiness has been established now, and you can easily like, oh, I know I have to get you out of here, but I'm so grateful for you having
Hmm.
this conversation with me.
I feel like there's a broader conversation about just authenticity and, to what degree can you bring your whole self to work and be seen as a whole person and not just as somebody who has put on a persona for a hearing or work. I think about, some of the best leaders I've worked with they are who they are in every setting. There is not a meeting version and a public version and a private version. They're just themselves. And I think students pick up on the inauthenticity exceptionally well. So I'm sure it's off-putting to get into the long walk down the hall without a discussion. When does that ever happen? Like, you just met somebody and then you're not going to say anything to them for 2 minutes while you're walking. No. Yeah.
I want to call your session the Green Mile.
The green mile. I like that.
Reinventing the Green Mile. It can be green because it's growth. Uh,
Sure.
So many metaphors. What are you most excited about for the new year, Sam? Or have you even had a chance to transition into thinking about the fall?
I have. I've just started putting together some training sessions for my hearing officers. I'm thinking about my goals for the summer, my goals for the year. And we've had like a lot of fire safety concerns, and that feels like a bummer. But something that I'm actually really looking forward to is establishing a much better working relationship with the city fire department. I think we're really lacking in that area, and we have an excellent relationship with like our police department. And if we can have a really great working relationship with those first responders, I'd love it for it to be everyone, because I don't want our firefighters to come to campus and be like, "Oh, the students did XYZ again." I really want them to feel like we are trying to collaborate with them. And so I'm really excited to see what that relationship can be like because I think it'll benefit them. I think it'll benefit the students too. My dream is to do one of the programs where like the firefighters come and they like light a fake dorm room on fire and they're like, but it would have been better had you not covered your smoke detector. I want to like something kind of fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to see where that partnership goes this year.
I think Maddie was filling me in because I was intrigued by that when you told us about the covered smoke detectors. And I was like, what is that about? And it was such a variety, like hair tools, aerosols or perfumes. There was a whole bunch of different things. Getting to the root of it, like there are a lot of different roots of it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is marijuana use, but the hearing officers meet with the students, and sometimes it is just like, oh, well, I wanted to light my candle, I wanted to light incense, or a lot of girls who are doing their hair, or they have a room that there's four of them, and they're constantly getting ready, so they cover the smoke detector because they don't want to get in trouble for the fire alarm going off. But then it goes off anyway, or someone does like a health and safety and we find it, and a covered smoke detector is a much bigger deal than you trying to get ready, doing your hair. And so sometimes I meet with students who have done this multiple times and they're on the verge of being dismissed from housing. And I'm like, hey, girl, I know you're just trying to slay, but by covering your smoke detector, you're really putting a lot of people's lives in danger. Because I always tell them, like, if the fire department comes in and they see, you've got all your products out, you've got the curling iron out, the hair dryer, they're going to be like, okay, and they're just going to reset it and they're going to walk out.
Mhm.
But, if you're doing your hair, you put the curling iron down, worst case scenario, it catches on the towel that's next to it and then your smoke detector's covered. Now the whole hallway's in danger because, the sprinklers aren't going to be activated right away. And really just trying to reframe it to them of like, I know that you did not have malicious intent, but we have to think about, the next 5 steps of how this can really escalate. But yeah, huge issue. So I'd love to get in front of it this year.
Yeah, I'd love to hear back like how that goes. 'Cause it's one of the few things that I really try to get serious. Like I need you to understand why this one is big.
Yep. Yep. Because that can
Ugh.
impact about like, if the building's 400 people, that
Mhm.
one thing can very quickly impact all 400 of those people.
We have a guest coming on that was at Seton Hall the year they had the fire. Now it's been 25 years. I can't believe how fast it went, but 3 people died and 50 students were hospitalized for a prank fire. And it's just, I mean, they're still devastated by it 25 years later. Like it shapes everything they do. Oh no, this is one of those episodes we need a moment of levity
Something
to
funny.
I'll
get
bring
us
out the
out of
dog. I'll
this.
bring out the dog.
Oh, please,
Oh,
yes,
yes.
please. Winnie.
Okay. Here
Oh,
she
what a
is.
cute baby. Oh, hello, Winnie.
Yay.
Oh, she said, "Why did you wake me up from my nap?"
Oh, those chihuahua ears are
Oh my
Mhm.
just, it's like
goodness.
Yoda.
And is that a bow tie? What is?
Yeah, she has a big flower collar,
Oh my goodness.
but she
Oh,
loves to get dressed. I'll have to send you guys pictures of that too. Her raincoat
mhm.
just came in.
Oh no, that's too good.
What a little sweet pea. Oh,
Wait.
Yeah, oh, she's so cute. Kurt, I think you're gonna ask how old is she? She's
yeah.
3.
Oh,
Oh,
what a
really?
cutie.
Yep. She's a whole
Adorable.
12 pounds.
That is a perfect sized dog.
Perfect. Yep. And she goes in her little purse and she has a little car seat. She goes everywhere.
So zen too, just
I know.
taking
Like,
it
Her
all
little feet
in.
are on my desk right now. That's why my computer keeps moving.
adorable.
Oh,
Look at the ear. Dude.
how does
Oh,
Winnie
Winnie.
get along with? Let me try to remember the cat. Peaches? No, something
Peaches.
related
And
to Peach.
it is
Oh,
Peaches. And they don't.
Oh no.
Yeah, Peach is a diva, and she doesn't really like that there's another critter in the house. And Winnie most of the time doesn't even really interact with her. Um, but there are some roommate conflicts, so to speak.
There's some good opportunity for shuttle diplomacy, I think, in
Mm,
this relationship.
mhm.
Any sanctions yet?
Air jail.
Sam, thanks for coming back.
Of
It's great
course,
to see
thanks
you.
for having me.
I think we're gonna need to have you come on before the February conference.
Yes, definitely. Sounds good.
All right. Good luck to everybody as you start your school years, and we'll see you next time on Ms. Behavior. Ah!
And the little licks too. Oh.
Oh my gosh. All right. Ms. Behavior is written and produced by Collette Shaw and Kurt Doan. Theme music was written and performed by Kevin MacLeod from incompetech.com. You can contact Ms. Behavior at msbehaviorcollege@gmail.com. That's msbehaviorcollege@gmail.com.